Hey guys, this is Kevin. So our first exercise today, working with the FluidSIM software, is this circuit right here. We want to build this circuit. So I'm going to walk us through how to build our first circuit. Okay, so once I open FluidSIM, okay, and FluidSIM is going to be this software right there, okay. What I'm going to do is over here on the left hand side, I've got my menu with all of the parts that I'll be using. Okay, so I just make sure that's nice and open so I can see everything. I'm gonna go get me what I call a new sheet of paper. Here's my working area. Okay, first, let's work on the control part, this right here. So the first thing I'm gonna need is I need supply voltage and ground. So I'm gonna look up here to, let's see, supply elements. Let's go to power supply. I've got 24 volts. I'm going to click and drag over. Electrical ground. I'm going to click and drag over. Okay. Here, let me expand this just a tad. Make it a little bigger. Maybe you can see it better. Okay, so I'm going to move my 24 volts. So I maximize my space. Okay, next, I need a push button, a normally open push button. So I go back over here to actuator valve, electrical actuators, power supply, sensors, switches, manually operated switches. This says push button make. I know that means that it's a normally open push button. Okay. Then I need a solenoid valve. Okay. So I'm going to come over here to go back to, let's see, relays. And here's my valve solenoid. Okay, I'm going to drag it over. If you don't know what a solenoid valve is, I can come here, right click, go to component description. Just say yes. And nothing happens. Okay, let's go right click. Let's go to properties. Nothing happens. Right click, component description. Just create yes. Okay, well that's not working the way I thought it was. That's okay. So now I'm going to bring this up like so. I'm going to connect my 24 volts to the push button to the solenoid valve, the solenoid valve to ground. Okay? So as you can see, I've got my control circuit built. Now let's build the directional control valve and the pneumatic cylinder. Okay? So first I need a cylinder, and we're using a single acting cylinder, like so. Then I need to get a two-way manually operated valve, or I'm sorry, electrically operated valve. So let's see, solenoid operated. I've got a three two-way solenoid valve. Let's see if this will work, what I want to do. And then I need an air compressor. Let's see, air compressor. Bring my air compressor down. Okay, so my air compressor is going to connect there. Port 3 is going to be my exhaust. Port 2 is going to go to my single acting cylinder. So this is what I was looking for earlier. If I right click here and go to component description, it's not working, but if I click, I don't know what a single acting cylinder is, so I'll right click, component description, and I'll get a description here. Shows me a physical picture. Here's my schematic picture. I can read about it. Okay. Now what we've got to do is we've got to link this directional control valve with this solenoid. The way I'm going to do that is I'm going to right click on my solenoid valve and I'm going to go to properties. and it says label. I've got to name this something. I'm going to name this 2M1. Okay? Then right here, this solenoid, I've got to name it. I go to Properties, Label. I got to name it the same thing, 2M1. And say, okay. Now once I do that, I've got my air supply, my cylinder. Actually, you know what? This is a, let me see.
Unknown caller.
Okay, so let's take a look. You see here, my compressor goes to a closed port. Here, my compressor goes straight to the cylinder. Well, I'll tell you what, let's see how this works first. If I come up here and click play, notice the compressor is sending air and it extends my cylinder. If I come over here and activate my solenoid valve, and I do that by left clicking, and I'm holding my left mouse button in right now. You see how this turns the compressed air off, and it allows the air to exhaust? But that's not what I've got drawn here. I'm going to pause. What I've got drawn here is the compressed air is closed until I activate it, then it activates the cylinder. So I got the wrong two-way valve. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to right click and cut. I'm going to go back to my valves. Let's see. This is the one that I need right here. Okay? See here, the compressed air goes to the closed port, and then the port 2 goes here. Now when I run the circuit simulation, my compressed air is going to the closed port. It's not able to pass through to the cylinder until I activate it. Uh-oh, I'm sorry. I didn't tie the two together, did I? I go right click, Properties, Label. I got to name it the same thing, 2M1. Okay. Now when I run the software, I activate the solenoid. Now the compressed air passes through and extends the cylinder. When I release the mouse, the switch opens, the solenoid valve turns off, and the spring here pushes the cylinder back. Okay?